Welcome to Comfort Zone, a podcast all about pushing your hosts, outside of their comfort zone. I'm Christopher Lawley, and each week I am joined by two incredible co-hosts. And this week, they have backs that work. I do not. As always, we're joined by Matt Birchler. Matt, how are you doing?
Chris, I'm doing well. I am drinking this seasonal bubbly water, melted ice pop.
Ooh.
It's terrible. I'm disappointed.
Nobody from the Dr. Pepper Company. Listen, I love bubbly. But that's disappointing to hear that it's bad. So,
yeah, I wouldn't. It does taste a little bit like that, but it's like all the things where it's like 1% of that flavor. It's not like just like chugging one of those.
Yeah, it's
tubes
like I like
sugar water.
I like the bubbly lime flavor. And that one just tasted like watered down Sprite. Oh, and we're also joined by Niléane. Niléane, how are you doing?
Yes, hello.
Do you have any bubbly hot takes?
On my end, I am drinking. I wanted to say something as well about my drink. I'm drinking from a free McDonald's Coca-Cola glass.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. I am so glad you guys have those in France.
I have 1 million of them. And inside is a just sprinkly, what?
Sparkling water?
Sparkling water. That's the word. Made using a machine at home.
Oh,
So
I like it. I like
Nice.
it. Niléane, I really respect your adherence to the podcast rules that you are not allowed to speak until you're introduced. Those are the
Yes.
rules. If someone hasn't introduced you, you're not allowed to say anything.
But you can make coughing noises to remind the host to get on with it.
Yeah.
And,
Allergies.
by the way, of course, I have Dr. Pepper. That's what I'm drinking
Yeah.
because on brand. All right, let's get to the show. We got one thing in the tiny topic section, and it's mine. I will be at WWDC this year, so if you see me walking around, be sure to say hi. Federico, John will be there. I'm actually wasn't entirely sure I was going to be able to go, but I got some stuff moved around. I will be there. Should be a good time. I'm actually really excited. There's a bunch of people that are going for their first time that I know from like the YouTube world. So it'll be their first time at Apple Park and Apple events and stuff like that. So I'm excited to meet them, show them around, and it should be a good time.
Apple, call me.
I,
They refuse to call me. They won't return my calls. It's rude.
Sad.
Sorry.
But I'm glad you're going, Chris. I hope it's fun.
And Matt just made me a liar because he added something else to the tiny topic
Oh.
section, even though I said we only had one thing.
We do have two things. I'll make this very quick. This is my weekly plug of Jetlag, the game. Thank you,
Yes.
Niléane, for introducing it to me.
Yes.
Not only am I addicted to it, my wife is addicted to it, and we're now Nebula subscribers, so we can... I don't even know why, but just because we want to support the lads. We are also now subscribers to the podcast, the Layover
Yes.
podcast, which they do as basically their own reaction to their own shows with the guest host. It's so good. It's so great. We're currently watching the one where they go from the highest point in the U.S. to the southernmost point with Michelle. I forget her last name, but she does like the Challenge Accepted YouTube show, which is also good. Anyway, watch Jetlag. It's great. I'll put a link again in the show notes for it because it's so good.
Nice. I still haven't got around to it, but I've been
Chris.
busy. I am
Chris.
introducing Danielle to Ted Lasso right now. That's I'm getting here. We have one episode left, so maybe after that we will get to Jetlag.
It is actually dangerous. My wife it's had a negative impact on our ability to keep up with our other real shows, like TV shows, because it is, as my wife said, the most bingeable thing she's ever seen.
Okay. That's how they get
true.
you. Yep. I gotta adjust my heating pad for my back. Oh, seriously, don't get old, people. I threw out my back the other day. Hence the intro. All right, let's get into the main show. Niléane, you're first up in the document. What do you got for us this week?
Yes, I have an app that's a kind of a follow-up to Doppler. Remember, I'm a Doppler fan now. I have an offline music library, kind of offline because my music library is stored on my home server where there is a Plex server as well. So I can access my music library via the Plex app and their secondary app, which is called Plex Amp. And so it's a dedicated music streaming app to stream music that's on your Plex server. But I mostly use Doppler. It's a Mac app as well as an iOS app. Doppler is just an offline music app, very is basic in the way that it works. But it's pretty and it's fast, contrary to Plex, and it works well. And I access my music library by pointing Doppler, to the home server directory via SMB, Samba. So that's how it works, to remind everyone of my setup. I've already said it once as well. When it comes to purchasing music, how do I deal with that? I'm not the richest person in the world. I'm like the exact opposite of that. Most of my music is music that I've acquired over years, like since high school, middle school, very like even inherited from my sister, my father, music files that came from all over the place, as well as music that I bought over the years. So I'm not like, don't picture me as like someone who buys music every day or whatever. I cannot afford to do that. And I don't even want to do that anyway, because I like to enjoy the music that I've been listening to for years. And I rarely discover new music. And when I do, it's organically. It's because somebody recommends something to me and I will look it up. But I don't actively try to discover new music in the way that some people do. That's how I get my music. And I got my music. Now there is a thing where sometimes I will have on my hands music files, and I will have to be very careful with what I say here. Music files that fell off the truck. And I don't mean, so I'm not talking about piracy here. I'm talking about something even like even more niche. Picture some very exclusive music files that was used in a worldwide show event, and I found myself having the connections to get those files, those exclusive files that only a few people in the world have access to, and I'm really happy. I love this album. I will not say. You can ask me, but I will not say what is it, because I've been sworn to secrecy. But my point is, these music files, they are WAV files, very high quality. However, there is no metadata in them. They just have a file name, and that's it. And so when I imported a very exclusive album into Doppler, it was trash. Like, it was classed as unknown artist, and there was no tags, no title, no numbered tracks or anything. So I had to do it myself. And I was looking for apps to do that, and because I know these exist. And I found one that is so good, guys. It is amazing. And it's genuinely so good. It's called Meta.
Facebook? You found Facebook?
No.
Instagram?
No.
WhatsApp? Oh, you're talking about the glasses.
No, I'm talking about Meta by Nightbirds Evolve. Is that the name of the developers company?
Sounds right to me.
Yeah. I will have a link. Nightbirds Evolve software. They make Meta. So it's as you guessed it, it's a music tag editor for the Mac. And it's so well done. So it's a very modern looking app. And the way it works is you just batch select your music files that you want to edit, and you drag and drop them into Meta, either directly onto the Meta icon in the dock or onto the window. And there you can do basic stuff. So you can insert titles, you can insert the number for the tracks, the disc number as well, if there's multiple discs, which is my case with this very exclusive music album. And there's also a feature where it will look up the album cover for you. It's very well done. So you just, basically it's just a search engine for album covers. You search, either you have already enough information in your metadata and when you click on the button, it will just find the most relevant album cover for you. Or you can just type yourself the correct keywords, which was what I had to do to find an album cover that can work. And yeah, where it's very nice is that it was thought to be used like with tens of files at a time. So you can, for example, edit 10 MP3 files to change the title of the tracks using a pattern. So that's either a regular expression or just any. You can tweak with it. You can have a pattern to name all your files at once. Same for the you know how it can be annoying to number all of the tracks, but if your music files already have the numbers, in the file name, music, the meta can look at those and
I like that.
Use them as proper track numbers in the metadata.
Okay. I was gonna ask something about that because I'm looking at their site right now, and it's taking me back to when like I was in college and had tons of MP3s, and this is like you didn't get everything from iTunes back then, and the files would often be titled like 1 dash and then the artist name dash the song title, and so I remember as a younger person going through and selecting them in iTunes, edit all, and like adding the album and the artist, but then I had to like go in and change the names, and all the titles had to be manually done, and the track numbers had to be manually done. So I would have loved this when I was much younger.
So at a certain point, do you guys remember iTunes added the feature where like if you popped in a CD to rip it, it would actually like go out and find the metadata for you automatically?
That's iTunes Match, right?
No, I think it was way before iTunes Match.
Okay.
But like it would, like if you went to Target and you bought a CD, woohoo, yeah, I'm coming home and I'm going to put it on my iPod, and you put it in and you go to rip it, like it would actually, like if you were connected to the internet, it would go out and find the metadata and do that. So a friend of mine had got his very first iPod after that feature had come out, but he didn't know about it, and he didn't have, this was before Wi-Fi was really popular and stuff like that. So he was in his room. He didn't have plug into the internet there. So he literally sat there and manually typed all of that stuff out, each CD one at a time, because he didn't know if you just connected to the internet, iTunes would go out and like find the proper metadata and like rip all that stuff for you and stuff like that. But anyways, that was just my fun anecdote for this.
Oh man, Chris, this is not the point, but it is. You really took me back to the era where like you could be in one room of your house just didn't have internet.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because one thing had the internet. I bought a laptop and I didn't have internet because I was in the living room and only the computer room had. Anyway, I'm really aging myself here.
So my house was the cool house because I literally, when I was, I must have been like 13, maybe not even that, but my parents bought a house, and there was a crawl space underneath the house. When you think crawl space, literally dirt and like the foundation of the house, like there's the concrete around it, there's the wood going down to the ground, and dirt. I had to army crawl through it, and I ran network cabling throughout the whole house. With me and my dad did it. He wasn't going to do it. I did it. I was not happy about it, but I did it, and that got me internet in my room. But more importantly, it was perfectly set up for LAN parties, and we could put computers in different rooms so you couldn't look over your shoulder to see where the other person was.
Man.
Okay.
So I'm old.
Okay, you guys are old. We get it. But in 2025, you can use Meta to solve all of this if you have this issue. Anyway, I just wanted to recommend this app. It's great. It's not like the pricing is pretty fair. I think it's 25 euros. I don't know how much that is in dollars.
Probably about $24, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It's pretty equivalent.
Yeah, true. And it's just a one-time purchase, and you can use it forever, which is great. I've bought it, and I've also, so apart from this very mysterious music album that I've got access to, I've also used it to fix up a bunch of my old files, which were they were tagged decently. Probably because I bought them from whatever store, maybe iTunes at the time. And so they were tagged pretty decently, but I found that including some of the Sigur Rós albums, which I'm a big fan of.
Of course.
I've noticed some of them would not scrabble correctly to Last FM.
You must be scrabbling correctly.
Here we go again.
Chris, here's what scrabbling is. It's very easy to understand.
I actually kind of forgot.
But
that's okay. We don't have to. Have to.
And Last FM, what it does is it looks at the metadata to match your songs correctly with the correct data. So I fixed some of those using Meta as well, and that was nice, and it worked.
I love this. I love utilities like this that solve a very particular problem, and like they do a good job at it. Like that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
and
lovely.
The icon is really good too.
It is. I'm looking at it right now.
It's a cassette, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. First, man, I had a lot of cassettes back in the day. Anyways,
okay, I think we've actually gone too far. We're
yes, I'm done.
We're so old.
Okay.
We really, you're really taking us. The problem is you're taking. I'm just like flashing back. I'm like the critic in Ratatouille, just like that's maybe a reference.
Ah, right.
Yeah, but I'm brought back to my childhood, and I'm like, whoa, this would be awesome. This icon reminds me of like the Delicious generation of apps as well, with like the really realistic materials, and like it really it just looks great.
I miss when app icons were fun. Now everything is the rounded square thing, and it's just like, oh, it's not fun.
Yeah, they're all black and white now too. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, and then there's some blue in them too. Don't forget about the blue icons. Anyways, moving on. I have a Mac app for you guys this week, and while Niléane's covered audio, mine covers video. But I'm actually gonna need your guys' help with this. I don't know how to pronounce the name of this app. Is it IINA? It's IINA. IINA? IINA?
I would say IINA.
IINA. Okay, we'll go with IINA then. It's the IINA video player, and this has completely replaced QuickTime as my default video player on macOS. It is everything QuickTime can do, plus a whole lot more. It's really, really good. One of my absolute favorite features about this is, okay, you open up a video on your Mac and you're watching it, and you hit Command Q. You quit the app. Windows gone. If you double click on that video again and find her, and it opens back up in IINA, IINA, I forget which one we went with already. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll probably jump back and forth between the two. Yeah, it opens back up in IINA. It remembers the position that you were watching. It doesn't start the video over. If you were at, let's say, the 6 minute and 40 second mark, it starts right back up at the 6 minute and 40 second mark. Fantastic. Love that feature. It supports picture-in-picture, which QuickTime does have. I'll give it that. You can create playlists, so you can have like a whole host of videos. Like if you're doing like a course or something, you can add a whole course of video, like a whole list of videos to a playlist, and it'll just run right through them. It has chapter support, so if the videos have chapters embedded into them, you can skip right through them. It has playback speed controls. QuickTime does have that. I'll give QuickTime that. But this one, I think they're a little more granular in IINA. It has playback history. So imagine basically having clipboard history, but for the videos that you've watched. And like if you watch a lot of videos locally on your Mac, that could be really killer. I could see that being a really nice thing. But what's also really cool is you can play a video from a URL, and I tested this morning because WWDC is coming up. So there's going to be a whole bunch of developer videos out on Apple's website. You can actually take the URLs from the developer page, from the developer video page, put it in IINA, and it'll actually, it takes a minute to load it, but it'll load it up and you can watch it right in IINA. So you can have all the playback speed controls and stuff like that. I don't know about you guys, but actually Danielle, my girlfriend, she told me this story when she was going through optometry school. Her school basically offered yes, you can go to class, but also all the classes are posted online. Like the audio is posted online. So she would sit there. So she would skip class a lot of times and listen to the audio at 2x and just I'm saving a bunch of time and stuff like that. So for lectures and stuff like that. So I could see that, especially a lot of the developer videos. For me, I watch a bunch of developer videos over the summer, but I'm really only interested in the first 5 to 10 minutes of those videos, basically the explainer of how an API or something works. I'm not interested in how to implement it because I'm not making an app. I just want to know how it works so I can, talk about it in my walkthroughs and stuff like that and understand the apps that are coming out, the behavior I should expect from them kind of thing. You can play different audio tracks. So say you rip DVDs or something like that, you could switch to the commentary track or something like that if you wanted. It does support subtitles as well, which is a nice feature. And you can force it to do different formats. So you can change the aspect ratio or the rotation. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you can. But the one that I found very interesting is you can force HDR to be off. So if a video implements HDR and you don't want that, and you're okay, it's maybe a bad implementation of HDR, or you just don't want it.
No one wants HDR.
Can we talk about this for a second?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's get into this.
No one wants it. Let's ban it.
I disagree.
No one wants
disagree.
it.
I'm right in the middle.
I think HDR was a bigger leap forward than going from 1080p to 4K.
Oh, no, that's wrong.
Absolutely. HDR adds dynamic range. In fact, you know what? I'm going to
It adds blindness.
No, not if it's done right. Okay, the guys behind Halide, Ben Sandowski. I'm sorry, they literally just published an article, I think this last week, about what HDR is. I'm gonna send it to you guys, and we can put it in the show notes. Is a very good explainer of what HDR is, and it's gonna do a much better job than what I can do. But HDR essentially, it gives you the ability to shoot in a room, but if that room has a window, you can still see out that window and things aren't being clipped. That, it just gives you that more dynamic range if it's implemented properly. If it's implemented poorly, a lot of people just use it to crank up the brightness and make things look pretty, and I'm using air quotes for that because when you go to a store to buy a TV, one of the things they do to make you think this TV looks amazing is crank the brightness all the way up.
I used to sell TVs before my current job, and yes, the brightest TVs would be seen as the best. It's so tricky. I have HDR on my iPhone when I shoot video because when I watch that video back, it looks more realistic to me. It looks more like real life to me. However, I hate when HDR is forced upon me. If I'm scrolling a social feed, if I'm on your website and there's any HDR content, I will scream. I hate it so much because everything is your screen's it's exactly the brightness you want it to be. And then this HDR thing just, like Niléane, you said, it blinds you out of nowhere. And you're I hate this so much. It's so terrible. I think, and that's it. I think it is mostly people who shoot things on their iPhone, and then the apps are oh, we'll do the right thing and we'll show HDR. That's a feature on the checklist, and then it's just a murdering feature, and that's no good. So it's tough.
So I've only ever done one HDR video for YouTube, and it was literally hey, here's some iPhone footage kind of thing. So I want to show off HDR. It might even been the year HDR video was added. No, that doesn't sound right. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember. But I don't shoot my YouTube videos for HDR. All that is standard dynamic range. Actually, no, it's not. It's Rec 2020, which is a. Never mind.
Oh no, we're losing him. He's going too deep.
I felt my brain ready to like sprint off, and we were about ready to lose every single listener. Anyways, my point is, I don't do YouTube videos in HDR, but if I'm sitting down and watching a movie, a TV show, or playing a game, and it has HDR, I absolutely want HDR for those.
Yes, give me HDR when I ask for it.
Well, I'm a radical. I disable HDR system-wide on any device I own, including the TV in the living room, which I believe is the worst offender. I hate it on the TV. Like, it's so bad. It's probably my TV that's bad. I don't know, but it's so bad.
I love it on my TV. I've talked on this show. I have the LG C3 77-inch. Like this thing was my baby. When I moved into my condo, the place before Danielle and I moved in together, my whole goal was to basically have a theater room in my living room. And essentially I was like, I don't want a projector because projectors can't get bright enough. But so I got like the biggest TV that I could biggest and best TV I could afford and that would fit in that room. And that was that TV. And I was like, give me all the HDR. I want all of it because it just looks stunning when it's implemented properly in movies, TV shows, games. When it's implemented properly, it's fantastic. When it's not, it's just, they're just cranking up the brightness.
Yeah, but I think that, when it's not, that happens too often to be good. It happens too often that it's bad, so you better turn it off instead of bothering every time with it.
I don't think that's the case anymore. I think when HDR was first being introduced, it was HDR is really hard. HDR is incredibly hard to edit and to color grade. It is incredibly difficult. But I think as it's kind of come up, it's gotten a lot better. And the more modern stuff now, the newer stuff now, looks a lot better than the stuff that came out. I don't even know when HDR was introduced. 10 years ago?
20 years ago. It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
I just had a realization. I actually also have HDR turned off on my TV, even though I do have an HDR capable
there
TV.
You go.
You know what I hate? I hate bouncing between the modes. I hate that my screen has to flash off and come back, and then the interface looks horrible. It's annoying. So I do love HDR on my PC monitor, but yeah, I have it off on my TV as well.
Wow, I would never turn it off on my TV. But for you HDR haters out there, you too, you can use IINA, whatever, and you can force HDR to be off if you want.
Perfect.
There is a couple of other features in here. It does support hardware decoding. So if you have H.265 video, it will use hardware to decode that video. Probably other file formats and stuff like that are more compressed that do require some decoding when playing back. And what's really cool is they have a future feature, and it's already in the beta version of the app, but I don't have the beta version installed. I just have the regular version. They're bringing in plugin support, and there's not a ton of plugins right now. There's support for stalling. Stalling. Oh, okay. Here we go. Nope. I don't need to stall anymore. There's support. There's a plugin that brings MPV support. So if you rip Blu-ray videos, Blu-ray discs, you can play them back without needing to convert them when something like Handbrake. There's plugins to add a sidebar view, some sort of file support and console and all sorts of weird things. So they are bringing in plugins. But the really nice thing about IINA or whatever it's called is it's completely free and it's open source and it's actively being developed. So, you can check it out. If you want to contribute, you can contribute. I'm not going to contribute, but you can if you want. That's the thing about open source. I'm going to go on a small tangent here. I always see people that's yay, open source, we can contribute to it and stuff like that. But I really want to know the amount of people that say that and actually contribute.
I mean, that's not the main point of open source. Open source software, my personal view is that the main point of open source software is that there's accountability that can be done. People, if they want, people can look inside it and see if it's done well, if there's any issues. It's the opacity thing. It's the fact that transparency, I should say. It's a transparency thing.
Yeah, I always see people like being like, I only use open source software, or like, yay, this is open source, we can contribute to it. And I'm just like, I'm always just curious, like, what the percentage of people that like maybe like are yay pro open source software, and like of those people, how many of them have actually contributed to any open source software? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems like one of those buzzword things that like people get excited about, but I just want to know. But I also worry sometimes about open source software that like, hey, is this going to go away because, they can't get any financial support? Best point of this, Obsidian plugins. There have been so many Obsidian plugins I've used over the last couple of years that have basically like, yeah, I can't justify working on this anymore. I have to stop development because there's no way for Obsidian plugins to charge right now. That you can go through the Obsidian store and you'll see like not an active development. And yes, it's open source, so somebody can fork it and build their own thing, but will they?
Yeah, open source is a wild thing. I mean, the web is built on open source everything, so like,
yeah,
absolutely, there's some that like fall off, and you go to the GitHub page and they never survive. But like, there's people out there who do it. I good for them, honestly. Like, when I loaded this page, 'cause I actually use IINA as well as my video player on the Mac. Just because it opens everything and QuickTime opens most things. But on like right at the top of the page, there's download and GitHub. I just always get a fuzzy feeling when I go to an apps page and like the GitHub link is like right there, because it just makes me like, yes, it's absolutely free and I'm not going to contribute to it either. But like, I like that it's there. I like that I can see the history. I like that there's like just an open place it is. Honestly, if you wanted this to have a different name, I could call this Chris's video player and give you that forked version of it, maybe.
Ooh.
I bet I can figure that out.
I like that.
Then you wouldn't have to worry at all. What app do I open videos in? My video player, of course.
Can you call it like Chris Lolly or Lolly or something like that? That way it just strokes my ego a little bit more. Like no other Chris can like, claim it.
I will do this, and I will legitimately put it in the show notes if I can figure this out.
Yes. I just want to say for the record, I'm not against open source software. Totally for it. Like, yay. But I'm just curious about like how many people like say they're gonna contribute and actually do. Like that's just my curiosity. But yeah. I am pro open source software. Don't at me, bro. All right. Well, that's kind of all I got for this one. Unless you guys got any questions on it, we can move to the challenge.
The one other thing I wanted to mention about it is something that I especially used to like. You're really taking me back to my college days when like video players were a big thing. I
had to have 5 different ones installed to support all the different formats.
Oh, VLC or the VLC forks. Oh my goodness. I think this maybe is as well. I don't know. It's all based on FFmpeg. I'm going too far down a rabbit hole. The thing that I like about this, and a lot of these players do, is they will let you increase the volume past 100%. Mm-hmm. So it'll let you boost the volume even more, which is great if you're on laptop speakers and the audio track is just a little too quiet. You can boost it more than you can in QuickTime.
And I want to say before Niléane can get to it, for us old people, we're deaf, and we just need to be able to hear a little bit more.
I didn't say anything.
You were thinking it.
No, I was thinking about sound source.
I saw it in your eyes. I was like, yes.
I was thinking about sound source, which also lets you boost audio.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the challenge. Matt, it was your challenge. What did you have us do?
It was my challenge. I wanted us to find a really cool media tracking app and identify your favorite little thing about it.
Nice. Well, Matt, you want to go first?
Yes, I have 2. One is unfair, so I did the second one. So my favorite feature
I knew he was going to do this. Absolutely.
My own app, Quick Reviews. It's It's magic mode. I love magic mode. I type in a movie, I get the artist. Actually, the other thing I like is Letterboxd sync. I write the review in Letterboxd, and then I open the app, and it just pops to the top of the list and everything. I just tap it and share it to social media.
I used that yesterday, by the way.
I saw that you saw Lilo and Stitch, I think.
Yeah.
You were not super impressed, but
No.
which made me sad.
But I did use your feature where I wrote it in Letterboxd first, then opened quick reviews, and it was right there.
What a great feature. Link in the show notes. But my actual pick, is, and it's so stupid, but I really, really like it. It's in Letterboxd. So basically, I will go to Letterboxd and I'll search for a movie. And it's probably the movie that I'm watching right now or I just watched. And then I hit the log button to like log that I watched it and write my review. And what I love is that interface just brings up a search box where you can search for whatever it is. Or if you're already looking at a movie and you hit log, it gives you a nice little button there that says, hey, are you trying to log the thing you're looking at? And I just click it and it is doing it for that. And it's a very little thing. It doesn't really matter, but every time I do it, it makes me happy because they knew how I was going to use the app. They knew what I was doing, and they did exactly what I would want them to do. So I like it a lot.
Nice. I like this.
And Letterboxd is great. Letterboxd is so good. I pay for the
yeah.
subscription, and I pay for my sister's subscription. Every Christmas, I just like say, just another year of that, right? And she's like, yep. So I love Letterboxd.
I love it too. Letterboxd is great. So for me, I went looking at different media tracking apps, but I came back to my old faithful, Sequel. I love Sequel. It's great for tracking movies, TV shows, games, and books. Like those are like my 4 media categories. Those are the things I want to track. I like having them all in one place. So like I'm like, okay, I got some downtime. What can I tackle? What I really love about it is it gives you notifications for when things are released. So I add a ton of stuff. I had movies, I had games, I had shows. I don't always remember when certain movies are coming out or when certain games get released or something like that. So when they do get released, you get a notification saying, hey, this thing is out. Fantastic. For TV shows, you get an episode or you get a notification when a new episode is out. Fantastic. Because living with Danielle and having her mom come and stay with us quite a bit, the Up Next queue on the TV app is absolutely destroyed and is no longer reliable, which is a bummer. I tried getting them to use profiles. That was not going to happen. For TV shows and movies inside Sequel, it will display where you can watch them on like different streaming services if you want, which is like a nice little touch. I really like that. And then each category has like a watch list kind of up next section. And then there's a completed section. And then for books and games, there is like a currently playing, currently reading kind of section, which I like is kind of like, I think of it almost as like a Kanban board of like, okay, this is what's up next. This is what I'm currently doing. Okay, completed. And then like when you complete it, you can rate it. You can write a little something. It's fine. Like it's great. And then you can create custom collections as well. So like right now I'm working on my all-time favorite video games, shows, and movies list of just like, you know, like, hey, these are my absolute favorites. I'm not doing a books one because it would just be the Lord of the Rings. It would just be Lord of the Rings. That would be it.
That's nice.
But yeah, I it's a really well thought out app if you want an app that can just track all the different kinds of media. But my favorite feature of the whole app, under custom icons, there's a Star Wars icon.
Oh.
I win.
Yeah.
Yep, I win this one.
Okay. Well. Fair enough.
Niléane, what'd you do?
Okay, so my pick is first I want to say there are 2 media tracking apps on my home screen and they have been there for years, and those are My Pick and Letterboxd. So I have you have my stamp of approval for Letterboxd, and My Pick is TV Forecast. TV Forecast. So at first this app was dedicated to tracking TV shows. Now it also does movies. I do not use the movies feature part, the movies part of the app. I just use it to track the TV shows I'm watching. long story short, it's really well made. It's very neatly designed. I really like the design of the app. It's very clean, and I like that the main tab is just two subsections. One is your progress, so you can see how far along you are in a TV show, or your upcoming episodes. So if there are ongoing TV shows that you're watching, you can just have countdowns, big font countdowns on that screen. For example, let's see what's coming up. Sometimes the countdowns are ridiculous, by the way. Foundation season 3 coming in 48 days. That's soon.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that soon.
Yeah, that's soon. Squid Game season 3, 35 days. The Bear season 4 is in 34 days. Poker Face I'm watching right now, and the next episode,
so
episode
good.
6. Yes,
So
it's
good.
very good. And episode 6 is coming in 6 days because it came out yesterday, the latest one as we're recording. Last of Us in 3 days, the next episode, and Stranger Things in 140 days.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it's really nice. It has tags, so it shows you in that view in the upcoming episode. It shows you if it's a new season, so with a big red badge, so that's very clear. And there's a section at the bottom as well where you can see all of the TV shows that you've watched in the past. You can see which ones are ended. So they are separated, the ones that are ended, that are over, cancelled, or whatever, and the ones that are renewed. So you can expect new seasons. So that's really nice. I really like this app. And the one feature that you asked me to select, the one little thing that I like about the app, is something that Chris, I'm sure, will agree with, is an alternative icon, because this app has so many alternative icons. It has a Star Wars themed alternative icon.
Ooh.
It's called Rebellion. It's really nice. It's very simple. It's a black background with yellow outline of the app icon. But my favorite is, of course, the fact that you have both an orange icon, a vibrant orange icon, as well as a vibrant yellow icon. I really like those colors, if you know me. So there you go.
They have
Nice.
I reinstalled the app to look at these icons. There's one called Happy Chappy. I don't know if you've seen this one. This is all of the icons are built on a theme, and then there's Happy Chappy, which
That's
is
true. Can I show this? Maybe. There you go.
This will
Happy Chappy.
absolutely be the chapter art.
VHS, the VHS one is my absolute favorite.
Yeah,
I
it's really
love
good.
a good 80s like
Yeah, you do.
synth theme. Like
Heck
one of
yeah.
my all-time favorite icons is the alternate icon for working copy. That is the 80s synth one. That's so good. Ooh, there's a 007 one too.
Yeah.
No,
Indiana
not technically.
Jones.
Not technically.
Yeah.
For legally
So-
speaking, not.
Question for you guys. How long did it take for you guys to realize the barrel at the beginning of a 007 movie is a gun?
One viewing.
Well, that's obvious, Chris.
Okay, never mind. Moving on. TV forecast. One of my all-time favorite features that I wish every other media tracking app would steal is TV forecast widget. So a lot of media tracking apps will show when a new season of a show is about to start, but then it falls off the widget. It doesn't go like, okay, there's a new episode coming in 7 days or something like that. TV forecast doesn't really care necessarily about the season. It's just like, hey, this is the next episode for this show that's going to be airing. And I love that because
Yeah.
I can see back when streaming first started, like with Netflix, they drop everything, but most streaming services now don't drop everything. I mean, they have weird plans. Like Andor was like, we're going to drop 3 episodes on a single day, and we're just going to do that for 4 weeks, and it was okay. Like, it was weird. But yeah, I wish more media tracking apps would do that. I love TV forecasts, but I just like the ability to also have books and video games in the same app as well.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I really like TV Forecast as well. The fact that you can both just look at the schedule of a TV show and track your own progress.
Yeah.
So there's both at the same time in the app, and they're well separated, and that's nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, great job, everybody. I think we did very good at this challenge.
Yeah,
especially
I
you
appreciate
with your own app.
A little self promo there. Yeah, and we all had different apps. That's the sign of a good
True.
challenge when we all
Yes.
come from different directions. So.
Also, I'm wearing my Letterboxd shirt right now. I didn't even
Oh
realize.
my gosh, you're such a
Oh.
shill. Like
Man.
Letterboxd sponsor us. We
I-
all pay for your service, so pay us.
That'd be a great sponsor.
By
That
the
would
way,
be a great-
Letterboxd, if you're listening, my subscription has elapsed, and I did not renew it because I'm trying to cut down on subscription costs. But hey, if you like us, you know my
They
address.
must like us. Come on.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like us? Never mind. YouTuber says something that. Never mind. I'm cutting that. All right, you guys ready for my challenge? I believe it's my challenge this week. I put a challenge in the doc, so I'm pretty sure it's my challenge.
That works, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so the challenge for you guys, and it's very timely because there is an announcement that happened. I want you guys to do something with a Stream Deck. Now, if you don't have a physical Stream Deck, that is okay, because Elgato just released a beta, and I put a link in the document already, that you can set up a new virtual Stream Deck on your Mac, or you can also use their mobile application, which lets you kind of turn your phone into a Stream Deck. But I just want everyone to do something with the Stream Deck. It could be a physical version. It could be the software version. I wanted to make sure, I wasn't going to make anyone spend over $100 on a challenge, so I made sure there was some free software options in there as well.
So, I might be wrong. I believe those virtual options, they require the hardware.
I just downloaded it, and maybe because I do have the Stream Deck plugged into the Mac.
See, I read someone complain about this. The fact that the new virtual Stream Deck that you can install on the Mac, you need to have a real Stream Deck to be able to use it, which is strange.
So until I can verify that, we're not going to do this challenge. I will save this challenge for another time.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a Stream Deck.
Yeah, no problem. No, I don't want anyone spending over $100 on this. So the new challenge is find a new background app for the Mac. And by background app, I mean an app that you install. You might configure it a little bit, but then it just lives in the background. Think of like Supercharge or Better Touch Tool or Better Snap Tool or something like that. Something that like you install. Yes, there's a little bit of configuration, but once it's configured, you never really open it again.
Okay. And this should be something new we haven't used before.
Yes, something new.
Okay.
Yeah, you haven't used it before.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. I have something in mind already, but I forgot how I found it. Oh, no.
That you've never used?
I haven't. I saw a link go by my feed somewhere today, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then I kept scrolling. So I need to scroll back.
Happens
I
all the
wonder
time
if it's
to
the
me.
one that I bookmarked as well.
Oh, boy. History shows probably.
This was my original challenge for this week until I saw the news that there was a virtual Stream Deck now, but I didn't see the part where it required you to have the hardware.
Yeah, I saw someone say the same thing, so I think
Yeah.
that is the case.
Okay, so until I can verify that or until they change their mind, I will save that challenge for another time. But for now, the challenge is find a new background Mac app.
Okay.
I might acquire a Stream Deck at some point. I will let you know.
If you do, Matt, do you have one?
I think I have one in the garage.
Okay, all right. Well, if you
Why
if you
is
do
it
want-
in the
or if Elgato, you're listening, send us some.
Yeah, Elgato. I'm
know,
using one of your mic arms right now.
I
like
want a new,
Same. Look.
I mean, I want one. I want one of the new ones that uses the scissor switches and not the membrane switches because I hate your membrane.
Oh, do they have one with better switches now?
The new one now
Yeah.
has scissor switches and not membrane switches.
Okay. My biggest beef with it is how terrible it feels to press the buttons.
Yeah, I hate pressing those buttons. But yep, I was okay. All right. Well,
okay.
we have the challenge and we have a future challenge as well. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. But before we wrap up, I have a end of the show question for you guys. I want to know, what is your favorite dinosaur?
So I It's either Chris or Matt, and I can't decide.
Oh my God. Yeah, we get it. We're old. We're old.
This is actually hurtful.
You delivered that
hurtful.
on a platter all during the
So
episode. I saw that question when we started. I saw that in the document. I was like, hey, I will make a joke about the dads. And then you went along with it without knowing.
Man.
So,
We're Datasaurus Rex.
yeah.
Oh no, that's not making us look any younger.
No.
I will say,
But,
Matt,
we were
Chris is
talking-
my favorite dinosaur. I will
Yes!
choose.
Oh,
I win. Yes.
come on.
I win. I don't know if I like winning this one, but I still win it. So
Maybe.
Matt, what about you?
I don't qualify as a dinosaur. I think that's how I'm going to interpret the answer. I will. Let's mute
You're
Niléane.
older than me.
Yeah. My favorite dinosaur is the Velociraptor because it has such a good PR team.
What?
Because we all think of Velociraptors like they were in Jurassic Park, where they're these big, mean,
Oh, yeah.
tough guys that are opening doors and everything, and in fact they're just little feathered guys who weren't nearly that big or that ferocious or that nimble with doorknobs. I was like, what's the word? What's the word?
I still remember seeing that opening, or not opening scene. I guess it is the opening scene in Jurassic Park when they're bringing in the Velociraptor and it pulls the guy in. It's like,
Oh yeah,
so cool.
that's the last world, I think. But yeah, it's
No,
so good.
that's the first Jurassic Park
Is
when
it?
they're bringing in the cage and they have all the people and like they're opening the opening scene in Lost World is the people on the yacht vacation
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
just
yeah.
stumble upon the second island. Anyways, I'm actually excited for the new Jurassic Park movie.
I hope so.
I have hopes for it. I actually have hopes for this one. The thing that makes me excited about it, and I swear I'm going to wrap up, is the fact that it's not just like, oh, we stumbled onto this island and now we have to figure out a way to get off of it. It's actually they're going there for a purpose. So we'll see. But anyways, my favorite dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, come on. Like, how can there be any other option? I think it's
Mainstream
awesome.
answer, though.
Yeah, these are mainstream answers. I Googled what are interesting dinosaurs, and I just chose Velociraptor anyway.
Does it show you your photo?
Stop it. Stop it.
So mean. So mean. That hurts more than getting eaten by a velociraptor.
Oh my God.
Anyways, that's a good way to wrap up.
That was fun.
Thank you all so much for listening. Big thank you to Mac Stories. We are a Mac Stories podcast. Be sure to go check out the other writings and podcasts on the network. There's a lot of good stuff happening over there. Matt, Niléane, say goodbye. You guys got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I haven't mentioned it in a while, but I'd like to plug my app, Quick Reviews. It's really great for writing reviews that look great on social media. Another feature of it is that when you use our magic mode to pull in a movie, it will guess what score you're going to give it. So it may even have the score already in there for you. So just another perk.
You're just trying to influence people into like liking your terrible, terrible tastes in movies.
Listen, I am.
I like that he said our magic mode.
Yeah, no, I caught that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's
we're
got
a big
team-
company.
team-
We yes.
Team people, hundreds of thousands of people in his employ.
Yeah.
Niléane, you got anything you want to promote?
Yeah, it's an app called Quick Reviews. I just released it. It's great. We worked hard on the magic mode.
And I have a great announcement. I am the newest member of the Quick Reviews team. I'd like to promote that. We have Magic Mode. We have the support for pulling your Letterboxd, scores and reviews and stuff like that. Go check it out. I apparently get half of the revenue per my contract now.
Well,
So,
here's the terrible news: is
Make
it's done the exact thing that every app does, where there's a spike and then almost nothing. So
Crap.
people use it today.
In 12 months, you'll go down to 15%, unless you're making over $1 million. You'll go down to 15%, and then that revenue will be coming in.
If I was
So,
making over $1 million, you guys would never see me again.
honestly, the same. All right. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.